Bagel and Roger Hernandez. Going live in 5. Good evening, brothers.
Is it a fucking
Oh, yeah. It's all synced up because I was checking the levels and everything. We're good.
It looks a lot more professional. I gotta tell you, with the
tables
on that table,
yep.
That's good.
I like it. Good evening, good evening.
Cannons are charged and on.
All right. What's up, everyone? All right.
Brother Jim.
Boom, 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 boom. All right. I'm up. Joe's up. Ken's up. We're up. Can everybody hear me all right? Bug? Oh, the more I mess with this thing, the more it's going to want to move. Just going to leave it there. Can everyone hear me? Right, worshipful sir. Pleasure to have you with us. I just got to aim this up more. Damn thing. For all those tuning in, tonight's topic is going to be the Masonic Lodge and firearms in the lodge. Just to give everyone a heads up, we had an incident here in the United States that I'm going to cover in a little bit, but there was a mass shooting, and we're going to be talking about that. The one thing I'm going to stay away from, and I want to make adamantly clear that we do not represent any Grand Lodge jurisdiction and or Grand Lodge or Freemasonry as a whole. This is going to be solely the opinions of ourselves. So I want to make that first and foremost adamantly clear. We're going to be talking about the legality in the state of Connecticut, not so much in every Masonic jurisdiction, about the legality of having firearms in the lodge. We're going to be staying away from any political banter that may be back and forth, and I would ask that all of those who are tuning in to please respect the opinions of others, whether they are Mason or non-Mason. So we're not going to be getting into any type of political discussion about it. We're simply going to be discussing about the thoughts and feelings about brethren and the Masonic lodges and their rules and regs on the firearms within a lodge. So we're going to be talking about it only from a Masonic point of view. So I just want to make that absolutely clear before we get fired up here. We're going to be recording. We're going to start our recording shortly. Worship Brother Joe has just walked back in the room. We've recorded our commercial, which I think came out pretty good.
It was good.
So I hope you guys all enjoy it. Again, the only way to listen to the commercials is if you listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Anchor, or any other platform that we are on. So just give me a minute. I'm just going over my notes over there. But I encourage everyone to, if you are interested in this topic or you have any questions, oh, God, that was loud, Hannah. I have headphones on. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you want to add to this, we are encouraged to join in on the conversation. Just again, remember what I had said about the respecting each other's opinions.
Got it.
We are live, Joe.
Live. Hello, Facebook. And we're back. Or I'm back. You guys didn't go anywhere.
Even touching the handle, Ken, it's like,
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I know you're adjusting. I'm just
What
saying.
if we started tapping on this?
Oh, seriously? Now you understand that the listeners are hearing what I'm listening to, so the more you
They're
bang
getting
there.
angry too. Let's see the latest on Discord here.
Yeah, if somebody can keep an eye on Discord while I'm going to be keeping an eye on Facebook and everything.
You got Discord, Ken?
Yep.
You've got Facebook, George? So I just get to sit here with my pretty hair and
You get
look
some
nice.
very pretty hair.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, we forgot our mascot.
Oh, is he joining us this evening? Is he allowed?
Is he back from exile?
He's back from exile.
Poor George. Poor Puppet George.
There he is. Poor Puppet George. Yeah, go. Go in the lodge. Though.
Watch out for the ghosts.
They're
Don't say
everywhere.
that shit to her.
Why is she gonna freak
She'll
out?
freak out.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm really not that sorry, but I'm sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Where was the other one? Ohio?
The other what?
There was one in El Paso.
Yes, Dayton, Ohio,
Yeah, Dayton, Ohio.
home of the Dayton Flyers, the real
the
birthplace
hell?
of flight. None of
I
that kitty
know
hawk crap.
nothing about hockey except I missed the whale.
Oh, that's the way.
I think we all missed the whale. We
No,
can all agree on that.
Who's
We're
coming
all
to meet us?
Connecticut
Somebody just hit me up in
citizens.
Discord, said I'm planning on coming to meet you.
Yeah, that was Mark. He's 12 hours away by car, and Nathan Moss is 9 hours away by paddle boat.
Nathan Moss is in.
Jet-powered paddle boat.
Yeah, the Dayton Flyers. That's the mascot of the University of Dayton.
Oh, okay. All right.
But name the Flyers because that's actually where the first flight took place, not
Really?
with the
Oh,
right.
I never
Not-
connected to your
not The
Wi-Fi.
Wright brothers and
Correct.
Kitty Hawk.
Well,
Everything
we're
I
gonna-
was taught in school was incorrect.
We're gonna see
That
what
is
happens.
Oh my god!
Do you hear me? I'm still connected to the junk Wi-Fi. I didn't connect to you, so we're gonna
Oh.
see what happens.
You
You
wanna
can
connect-
switch it now. It might end the live recording.
Yeah, I'm gonna
You
leave
do
it.
that.
I'm just gonna run with it. See
Maybe
what
just leave it, and if it
I am.
crashes,
happens. If it
switch
crashes,
over.
we'll be back on. But
If it crashes, you could try my hotspot.
Oh God, don't start.
What? I got a new phone.
Don't start. Hey, well, what does everyone think of the new look? The new table, the new look. What are we thinking? We like? Don't like?
I like it. I think we need. I should have bought that Iron Maiden flag last night. I was thinking, where would I put that? Hang that up right behind us.
Oh yeah, that's all we need is an Iron Maiden flag.
The Trooper.
I think we should get a pirate flag.
I thought I had one. I'll get you one. You want a pirate flag? I'll get you a pirate flag.
We need to have somebody make Masonic square and compasses, right? Except make them out of 2 sabers and 2 cannons with Puppet George's face in the middle.
Don't we
With
have a
the pirate
graphics guy?
hat.
We have a graphics
We have a
department, don't we?
Yeah.
we do have a graphics department.
We already have a similar logo.
That
So,
logo with
right?
Puppet George in it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's the one that Peter Daigle did.
Yes, he did a
He
few.
did a
I
bunch
like
of
all of them.
And
Did a great
actually,
job.
somebody else did another one too. Did I show you guys?
I think I only saw like 3 different ones that he did,
stand by.
unless he did only one and the other 2 were somebody else's.
It's easy enough to take the vector art for that and probably give it to a flag company, and they'll make a custom flag. It wouldn't be cheap. We could do it.
Jason Spencer.
You can get anything on the internet.
Jason Spencer made that.
That's cool. I'd get that tattoo.
Ooh, that's very cool. Yeah,
That is
I
really
that.
cool.
We should get tattoos.
It's retro.
It's very cool. All right, what do you say? We fire it up?
Fire it up.
Yeah,
Fire it
let's do
up.
it.
New table is good.
I feel like
Need a seat for Puppet George. Puppet George has a can of Febreze in his rectum right now. That's holding him up.
I feel like I'm giving
He
a press
stinks.
conference or something.
Senator Joe Normus, you have the floor.
All right.
I yield.
All right, ready, guys?
Yes,
sir.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. Gotta shut this window.
because the train's going to come.
Yep.
Don't start.
Funny how
Should
that
I,
happens
uh,
same time every day.
Don't start.
Should I kill this mic since nobody's sitting?
It's
here?
off. I got it killed
Oh,
over here, so that's
all
fine. All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast. I am your host, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry, and with me tonight,
Worshipful brother Joe.
Worshipful brother Ken.
and tonight's topic is going to be a hot one, especially considering what just occurred not too long ago. And I'll get into that shortly. But tonight's topic is going to be Freemason lodges and firearms. And we're going to be talking about it strictly from our own points of view, as well as what the rules and regs are here in the state of Connecticut. We do not speak for any grand jurisdiction. I've said it before. We do not speak for any grand lodge. We do not speak for any lodge. We speak for solely ourselves and our opinions on the matter. But first, we're going to plug some things. www.freemasonpodcast.com, as well as the Facebook page, community page, Instagram, Patreon, and you can sign up for Discord, and you can have conversations with us right now. Worship Brother Ken is actually monitoring it right now and the conversation going on in there, and you can speak to all of us, me, Joe Normus, Worship Brother Ken, and we've had a great conversation today. Again, the only thing I want to just add in while we are live is to please just respect each other's opinions. I'm not getting into anything political. We're not getting into the debate of guns. We're getting into the Masonic standpoint as well as how we feel as brothers on this standpoint. We're going to play devil's advocate, I'm sure, on both sides of the coin, and that's what we're going to do. But if you want to sign up for Patreon, sign up for Patreon. We got some good bloopers from Ken. And actually, there was one good blooper from me too. I don't know if you heard.
I heard some. I
only screwed that
expletives from the other room.
Yes, I
can't wait to hear.
Yeah, I got a little upset.
And those will be exclusively on Patreon.
They will be exclusively on Patreon. I'm going to be
adding me swear, which I don't do very often.
Yeah, and the other thing we've been covering is we're going to be getting into the Emerald Tablets of Thoth pretty soon, and we're going to tap into that. That's more of esoteric Freemasonry. We kind of touched on it in our last regular podcast when we were talking about Hiram Abiff.
Yep. And
we'll get into that. But two things I want to do.
Yeah, I just got a book just arrived yesterday, so looking forward to reading.
We do not have any shout outs at the moment, actually, but I do want to say thank you to everyone. We have 269 people who like and listen to our podcast.
Excellent.
Well, listen to our podcast is through the roof lately. We're up well over 300 per episode, and overall listens on it. I'll actually tap right into it right now, and I'll tell you exactly what we're doing.
We cracked 30,000. We were close.
We are at 28.3K.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And our estimated audience is about 311 people. However, that varies from show to show because there's
guessing based on.
What also happens is when I upload an episode, it knocks that down. So we're well up there.
Oh, because it knocks down the average because it hasn't had enough time for people to listen to yet. That makes sense.
So, but I want to thank everyone who listens to us, tunes into us, reaches out to us in messages. We are always here. I want to apologize again to one brethren. I think that was Bill Powell. For whatever reason, my phone does not like his conversations, and it refuses to let me respond back to him. So, brother Bill Powell, how you doing? I am getting your messages. I am reading them. Rafferty has actually contacted and talked to him, but when I try jumping in the conversation, it boots me out. Will not let me do it, and it's never let me do it since the jump. And Rafferty's had problem with somebody else where it wouldn't let him do it. So I don't know what the hell is going on, but
Facebook doesn't like us.
You can write to me. I might not
jail.
be. I might
in
not
Facebook jail
anyway.
You can write to me. I do read what you write to me. I will respond to it on the podcast because if you listen to it, that's the best way I can communicate with you, considering that the messenger just refuses to let me message you back.
Or send Joe and Ida messages because we care about you.
Yes, we care too. We count.
Even
we matter.
Still, you can jump on Patreon and Discord, and I
you
won't
can
have
do that.
You can do that too. So, but one thing I want to do is I want to say we're not going to do a shout out. We will do a toast to two things. First, I want to do is I want to observe a moment of silence from the brethren for the two mass shootings that happened in the last 24 hours, 48 hours in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. There was two mass shootings that occurred. So, brother, if you please join me, sign of fidelity. We'll observe a moment of silence. Amen.
So motivated.
All right. And the other thing I want to do is I want to actually have a toast for the first responders and everyone who showed up in the wake of that. So, brethren, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire. Good fire. Fire all. Together, brothers.
Vivat, vivat, vivat.
I like this table much better because it doesn't reverb. Well, like on the wooden table, it's like boom. So that's what I wanted to do. Washington's rules for Freemasons in life and in lodge. We do this. We've been doing this. And let's see if I ruin this one, Ken, because I ruined the last episodes.
Just read the one that we read last week, and you'll be fine.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So the one we did last week is wherein you reprove another, be unblameable yourself. For example, it is more prevalent than precepts. That is to say, lead by example, actions speak louder than words. How'd we do?
I wasn't aware I was here. I was stuck in Rhode Island.
You don't listen to the podcast. Oh, I just did it.
You
I just
Come
posted
on,
it.
man.
Never mind.
Come on, man.
My fault.
I can't watch live when I'm driving the company car.
Sure
that
you
would
can.
be awful.
Doesn't like the sound of his own voice.
Insurance companies tend to frown upon that.
I don't like the sound of
I
his voice
actually
in the
used to hate the
headphones.
sound of my own voice, but this podcast has gotten me used to it.
The first couple episodes, man, were brutal for me, especially the first one I did. I was up here by myself, and I'm listening to myself. So actually, my speech has improved 1,000 times. Plus, I'm not afraid because I was literally over there. Like, I would see the table used to be over there in that corner, and I was sitting at the table, and I was literally shaking, just shaking. I was in such fear of doing it. Now it's kind of just like, hey, meh.
Yeah, you forget it. And
You
it
gotta push
is,
yourself.
Right. Ken, how'd you do then? It's just you and me. Lead by example, action
Question.
speak louder
I
than
didn't
words.
really have any. Didn't really have any incidents where I needed to practice that particular virtue. So I guess I did okay by omission, or did poorly.
well, you
by
didn't mess
omission.
it up.
I didn't
do
mess it
wrong.
up. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't
Right.
do it wrong. I just didn't have too many like leadership scenarios where I had to do the whole lead by example thing. It was a pretty quiet week. We had a department outing toward the end of the week, and I didn't. My employees kind of hung out in their offices. I hung out in my office. None of my coworkers bothered me. So
I feel like I've been kicking ass with it. I feel like I've been
Good.
really kicking ass with, putting action to motion or excuse me, what's the word am I looking? Said that backwards. Thought to motion, I guess you could say.
okay.
And I think I've been kicking ass with it. I think I did good with that one this week anyway. Charge the cannons. We got one more. Do we have the soda over here?
Yes.
It doesn't matter, Joe. Whatever. Splash. That's fine. Ginger ale with a cork top. Awesome.
It's imported from Canada.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for the Canada joke. All right. So,
I do.
Nicholas McGowan writes.
Same ginger ale for me.
Nicholas McGowan writes, shout out to the United States Coast Guard birthday, 229 years.
Whoa.
So we are doing a shout out to the United States Coast Guard.
Sounds good.
Coast joins. Awesome. All right, ready? Joe, lead us to the United States Coast Guard.
To the United States Coast Guard. Right hand to arms.
Arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire good fire. Fire all. Together, brothers.
Vivat,
vivat, vivat.
All right, so time to do this one. All right, next one. This is outside of lodge, by the way. I didn't know this was actually sectioned. There's in lodge, before meeting.
Oh, wow,
lodges.
okay.
Yeah, it's actually, see, right on top of the book, it says outside the lodge. So this is actually all actions outside the lodge. Interesting. Don't forget, you are a Mason in and outside of lodge, and you could also be brought up on Masonic charges for your conduct outside of lodge. So you are a Mason through and through. This is number 56. And again, if you want to hear the entire George Washington's rules, civility, and decent behavior and company conversation, you can sign up for Patreon, and we did them all on there, every single one of them.
Yep.
So this is number 56. Associate yourself with men of good quality if you esteem your own reputation, for 'tis better to be alone than in bad company. Love that one. That is to say, avoid people of low morals and bad habit. It is better to have no friends than to be in violent or unhealthy relationships. Here, here.
Call your
That
Facebook
is
list
a
every once in a while.
Good one. Yes.
I'd like to say that I just nailed it by being here with you two brothers.
Oh,
you're a
nice.
sweetheart.
Thanks, brother
You know
Joe.
that?
Likewise.
Go on, Papa George. Take a shot.
He's quiet tonight.
He is quiet. He's very quiet. All right. So what do you say? Let's get into the hot topic. So first thing we want to do is I'm going to turn it over to you to worship Brother Ken. And I want you to actually talk about, in the state of Connecticut, the legality of owning a firearm.
In general, not in the lodge.
No. In general,
Okay.
as well as the process it is to get a firearm.
Okay. So in the state of Connecticut, we have some of the stricter gun legislation in the country. I think between Connecticut, Massachusetts, and California, those 3 states tend to have, I think, the strictest gun laws, or at least some of the strictest gun laws. In the state of Connecticut, in order to obtain a firearm, you first have to be permitted. And in order to be permitted, you have to get one of 2 different types of permit. Either a long gun permit, which would entitle you to purchase and own a rifle or a shotgun, or a Connecticut state pistol permit, which would entitle you to any type of firearm.
Correct.
In addition to getting that long gun permit, in order to purchase a long gun, you would need to purchase a separate ammunition permit to purchase any kind of ammunition.
Correct.
Connecticut pistol permit, however, supersedes all of those. So you can purchase a pistol, a long gun, ammunition, whatever. But the process is essentially the same to get any of those permits, from what I understand. I don't have the long gun or the ammo permit, so I don't know specifically, but I would suspect that the policy is essentially the same. And what we're required to do is, at least in this state, is to fill out a rather lengthy form, basically have several cashier checks cut to different civil and government authorities.
Right. And it usually starts with your local municipality. You have to get permitted through them first before you go to the state.
Yep. But you have to fill out that.
And it's a limited one, too. It's only for a certain amount of time.
Yep. But you have to fill out that form first. You have to take a Connecticut-approved pistol permit class, which in this state, the NRA pistol permit, like I forget what it's, basic practical pistol permit course, I believe, is the one that's recognized by the state of Connecticut. So you have to take one that, the instructor is authorized and certified to teach that. I believe it's an 8-hour course or a 2-day course.
Mine was...
you can do it one of 2 ways.
Mine was a couple hours a night for a few nights that ended with some range time.
Or you can do an all-day class.
Yep. So I think it's like the all-day, I think, is a total of 8 hours of instruction, plus you have to do a live fire practical as well. So they're going to put a pistol in your hand. You have to safely be able to show that you know how to use it and that you can handle it in a safe manner and follow all the rules that are handed down by the NRA. And then once you complete all of those things, you send in all of that information. It usually varies between a couple months to, I think it took me 8 months to get mine.
Well, there's also, now tell what happens in there.
You get a temporary permit.
You get fingerprinted.
Yeah, you get fingerprinted too. That's one of the things you have to
fingerprint, and it gets sent to the authorities. I think it's believed the FBI, right?
Yep.
Fingerprint
goes to
the
NCIC. Yeah.
You also, they do a background check.
Yep.
So if you have any type of criminal past, they'll know about it, and at any point in the process, you could be bounced.
Yeah, and if you lie about it, or you say, "Oh, well, I forgot about that misdemeanor I got in high school," well, you're like pretty much automatically out.
Right, you're done.
They're very serious about that. I believe there's a section about mental health as well. So whether you've ever been hospitalized and committed or remanded to state custody for any kind of psychological ailment, so that's covered at least.
I think that part is relatively new.
That is new.
Yeah, that's new as of, I believe, a couple years ago. Yeah. Yep. And then, again, you have to collect all that information. Usually you have to go to your local PD in order to get fingerprinted. But, again, that fingerprint form goes to the federal government. It goes through the National Computer, I forget what it is, the NCIC, which is part of the FBI, and it goes through a background check process.
National crime information.
And it's not a 1 second deal.
It
takes a while.
And they're they're looking for your prints, and they're looking for all of your information, your ID information as well.
Bounce for your fingerprints too. If your fingerprints don't come out clear enough,
then you have to go back.
You got to go back and do it again.
I mean, it's an arduous process. If you're missing one piece of paperwork, they bounce you back, and you're right back at the beginning of the queue.
And you have 60 days, I think, is for the local.
Yeah, so once you receive assuming you go through this entire process and you actually obtain your temporary permit entitles you to absolutely nothing except getting your permanent permit.
Right.
You can't do anything with
that
temporary. Right.
Yeah.
So then you have to send that up through the state. Usually you get your temporary from your local municipal police department. You have to obtain your permanent one from the state. And once you do that, which is probably another round of cashier's checks, if I recall correctly. Then you can.
They cannot be personal checks. They can't. Correct. They have to be They have to be cashier's checks and all that stuff. Plus, you also have to have a notary on top of that.
Yep. Yeah.
A town notary has to notarize your certificate of that you completed the class.
They have to witness the signature and everything.
They have to witness the signature. Don't sign it ahead of time. If you sign it ahead of time, they're going to be like,
you're bumped right back to the beginning of the process.
And then you got to then you got to either get you could potentially, I guess, ask for a reprint, but.
So basically, if your IQ is below about 120 or so, you're probably not going to get a pistol permit. And also, if you don't have a certain degree of what's the term I'm looking for? Patience and fortitude, then you're not going to get through. If you have any kind of criminal background,
well, that's what they're trying to weed out. That's exactly why the process is so tedious.
Yep. Well, and here's the interesting thing about with my town permit. So after I got fingerprinted, I had about a half-hour interview with the detective, asked me a bunch of questions. I had to give him the list of my neighbors' names.
Yeah, that varies by town.
And I know for a fact they went out to my neighbors. And I had just moved into this house less than a year. And I was like, oh, I don't know their name. And he's like, draw me a map and give me like first names.
Wow. You actually had to have you had to meet with a detective?
Yes.
Wow.
That's in Trumbull, Connecticut. And then I'm like, yeah, they're just taking this for whatever. They actually sent somebody out to interview my neighbors to make sure I wasn't some kind of a crackpot.
You needed three.
This was on top of the references.
Yes.
This was
this is on top. Wow.
Yes, they just wanted to know because they went and knocked on doors and said, what do you know about this guy? He's applying for a pistol permit. Is there any reason why you think he shouldn't have one?
And this is a perfect example of every town is different. Every state is different.
Yep.
Everything is, Bison! Hey! We're live. I'm going to turn your mic on.
So my town actually did something similar, but we had to be interviewed by the chief of police.
Okay.
But he didn't go around asking all of our neighbors.
Right.
Of course, I'm from a smaller town, too, so maybe it's just the fact that everybody kind of knows everyone else. But I was interviewed by the chief in order to, before they hand you the temporary permit, which, again, is worthless. The only thing it's good for is going up to the state.
The reason why I wanted you to bring all this up, and the reason why is because if there is a Mason who is carrying a pistol in one of, obviously not going to walk in with a long barrel because, I mean, who the hell wants to walk around? This isn't the Wild West.
Yeah. Exactly.
Most people carry pistols out. Okay. You carry a pistol or, some form of that. Yeah. I also want to add that there is no such, everybody says assault rifle and automatic weapons. Okay. They are banned. You cannot get assault rifles in the state of Connecticut, and many states have also followed that same thing. Assault rifle, I want to get all weapons in the state of Connecticut are semi-automatic, which basically means you pull the trigger once and one bullet comes out. You release, you squeeze again, another bullet comes out. Automatic or assault rifle would mean you squeeze the trigger and more than one bullet flies out of that gun.
So full auto. Or select fire.
Or select fire. Again, when I was in the Marine Corps, you had the M16 that fired a 3-round burst, which you were told never to use because you're just wasting it. You're wasting. It makes it inaccurate. Yep. It kicks like a mule when you fire 3 at one shot. It pulls up hard to the right, and it's a waste of ammo. If you can't hit them in one round, you're just wasting. That's why I love everybody who's like, oh, I like the AK-47. Why? It's a spray and pray weapon. Yep. You're not hitting anything outside of 300 yards.
Particularly accurate.
But I digress. So there are no quote unquote assault rifles. There's nothing that is.
Well, it's a term.
It's a term that's
the legislators try to put a framework around that term and say, here's what we classify to be an assault weapon.
Right. Again,
but it muddies the
assault rifle got its coined term from everybody who's interested in the military style AR-15. AR does not stand for assault rifle. It is actually Armalite, which is the company who
Armalite rifle.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you. Yep. And that's where the term AR came from. None of these in the civilian sector are fully automatic. There's been the thing that happened in Vegas was a bump stock rifle. And what a bump stock is basically it vibrates your arm in order to make it fully automatic.
It controls the recoil to kind of turn that energy into another shot.
Which has now become banned federally. You cannot get these anymore. Also, your barrel has to be a certain length so that if it's under that, it's illegal. Same thing as like a sawed-off shotgun. They are illegal because you can conceal and hide it. And why the hell would you want to cut the barrel off unless you're going to do something?
No, there's no good reason to do that.
Right. But the reason and again, I'm kind of getting off subject, but the reason why I bring this up is because I'm basically talking about this. And every person, if you are a pistol carrying permit holding person, is legal coming into a lodge carrying a pistol. So they are legal gun owners. Everybody has their opinions on this. Everybody has their own, oh, guns are bad. No, guns aren't bad. People are bad. We can debate semantics all day long. It's not what I want to do. I just want to basically get the take of each one of you about brothers carrying a pistol in lodge and what the legality of it is, especially in the state of Connecticut.
So the only thing that would, in the state of Connecticut anyway, legally prevent you or deter you, prevent you legally from carrying a firearm in lodge is a no firearms allowed sign on the exterior of the lodge building. I think as far as the letter of the law is concerned, that's the only way that you would be prevented from carrying a gun in lodge.
I'm sorry, say that again.
From a legal standpoint.
From a legal standpoint. So from a purely legal framework, a no firearms allowed on premises sign outside of a lodge would be the only thing that would legally prevent you from carrying a firearm if you're a permit holding.
If I may, unless it's a federal building.
Well, no, what I'm saying from a lodge. So if it's a lodge,
right, like I'm saying,
if it's like the post office or something.
I'm just saying, like if in the Humphrey building there was a bank downstairs, I doubt you'd be able to carry it in the building.
Right.
I think that is you cannot carry any bank federally owned type of building. You cannot. If the building is federally owned, and let's say our lodge is like
we're leasing
from like an office space in a federally owned lodge where the IRS meets or whatever. Done. Yeah. You're done. Different story. Yeah. But just I wanted to bring that up. So go ahead, Ken. Your personal opinion on it.
My personal opinion. My personal opinion is that I am completely fine with carrying firearms in the lodge. This comes from the fact that I don't want to go too much into what my lodge believes. But I do know that the brothers that are in my lodge, I trust them all. I've met with them all. I have gone, we do pistol and rifle shooting events every year. I've shot with all these brothers. I know that they're safe. I know that they keep safety as the highest priority. If I didn't think that were the case, my opinion might be different. But safety's always been my highest priority as a firearms owner. So knowing that those brothers are safe is what allows me to be comfortable in that scenario. So that's my personal opinion.
Awesome.
And again, if a lodge had a different opinion, that would be okay too.
I also think it would depend on the master as well. If the master says, listen, I'm not comfortable with it, I'm against it, I don't want it in my lodge, master has final word.
Absolutely. But this year, I'm the master.
I'm the captain now.
I am the captain this year.
I get that. And again, I don't know if a grand master coming in and saying, they're allowed in lodge supersedes that, but I still think that the local lodge, the master is still the boss.
The master is still the boss.
So even if the grand lodge says yes, I think the master could still say, well, it may be legal in the grand lodge, but it's not happening in my lodge.
Well, and if he sees that as maintaining harmony, which is one of the main charges given to the master of the lodge.
Thank you. That's where I was driving.
That's his absolute prerogative and what he deems as maintaining harmony.
He has the ability to interpret that.
As Roderick, thank you. Roderick Smith said, love y'all's podcast, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you, Roderick.
Thank you. Let's see here. Brother Joe. Where's your Brother Joe? Why don't you fire off?
I have a slightly different take on it.
Okay.
For the most part, I don't believe they belong in lodge.
Brother Dan.
The one exception to that I am okay with, we have 2 members of our lodge that regularly show up for meetings that are police officers.
Okay.
And just based on the duties of their job, they carry all the time. and I am absolutely fine with that. It's part of their profession. It's part of their duties. I'm confident in their ability. And I think, like as you mentioned, safety is the number one key. Outside of that, and if we did not have those brothers, I don't think it belongs there.
Okay, very nice.
That's just, I think it's, to me, it's a very sacred place. It is, there are certain lines that I personally don't want to cross in that sacred space. I think it could make some members uncomfortable. And we don't want to get into political discussions in Lodge, nor do I feel like if a brother was uncomfortable, to justify. So, and even if you're going